Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Srila Gurudev. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivrajakacarya Stottra Shata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Hare Krishna, Panchang Pranams to everyone.
Thank you so much for the wonderful Kirtan, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Bhakti Priya Devi Dasi Mataji. Welcome to the ICF session. Today we have our guest speaker, Bhakti Priya Devi Dasi Mataji. Mataji started her Krishna consciousness journey as a young college student in the year 2006. Frustrated by the bogus ritualistic religious practices, she was looking for answers to deeper truths of life, and her great fortune that she found Bhagavad Gita weekly sessions conducted by ISKCON Sikandrabad in her neighborhood, and she joined them in January 2006. She started chanting and engaged in local preaching activities. Her journey accelerated when she got married and moved to Melbourne, Australia. She got initiated by His Grace, Srimad Sankarshan Das Adhikari, who is a direct disciple of Srila Prabhupada, and is famous for his online classes called the Ultimate Self-Realization course. Bhakti Priya Mataji holds Bhakti Shastri degree from both Mayapur Institute and from ISKCON Melbourne. She also holds BS TTC, TTC 1 and TTC 2 degrees, and she is also pursuing Bhakti Vaibhava course. Currently, she is serving at the ISKCON Melbourne in various capacities, like giving Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam classes at the temple, deity worship, children's Krishna conscious classes, and many more preaching activities. Being a dentist by profession, Mataji utilizes her work as an opportunity to serve devotees and to preach Krishna consciousness. Both Mataji and her husband, Ananda Vardhana Prabhu, have adopted simple lifestyle and are actively engaged in devotional sadhana, seva, and prachar. This is all about our Grace Bhakti Priya Devi Dasi Mataji. And I once again welcome to the session, Mataji. Over to you, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, everyone, for having me. Am I audible clearly?
Yes, Mataji.
Great. Thank you, Mataji. So we'll begin. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are currently reading the Canto 4th, and the chapter that we are studying right now is chapter number 4. The title of the chapter is Sati quits her body. Today we'll be discussing verses 30 to 34. But before we get there, let's just have a little bit of introduction of what has happened so far. What has happened so far? So the Prajapati Daksha, there was a big sacrifice organized by him, where all great personalities, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, lots of demigods, everybody was present there. And when Prajapati Daksha entered, everybody, because he's the host, he's a great Prajapati, so everybody stood up, except two personalities, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. Lord Brahma, Prajapati Daksha accepted, okay, he's my father, no problem. But Shiva, how come he did not get up? He is my son-in-law, so I am father-in-law, I am elder in age, I am a Prajapati. How come he did not get up? And because he did not know the position of Lord Shiva, because he did not understand who Lord Shiva is, he cursed Lord Shiva. And then Nandi, who is the associate of Lord Shiva, he got offended, he started cursing. And then Brigu, who was conducting the sacrifice for Daksha, he started counter cursing. This counter cursing went on. And everybody then went home. When they went home, Lord Shiva and Sati, they started discussing about the whole thing. Because now Brahma had made Daksha as a chief of Prajapatis. So now what is happening? Now he's hosting another sacrifice and another sacrifice. And he's invited all great personalities again. He's invited all demigods and their wives, and everybody's nicely dressed up and they are going. And Sati can see something is happening, and she heard that my father has hosted yet another sacrifice. Of course, because of affection, she wanted to go, but she also remembered how her husband was not welcomed, was not properly received, and to top it all, he was even cursed. So she discusses with Lord Shiva, she expresses her desire to go. Lord Shiva does not, approve of that, he tries to explain. But somehow, because of fatherly love for his family, for her family, Mother Sati, she decided she would go. Sure enough, she went there, and as predicted by Lord Shiva, she was not properly received, not properly welcomed by her own father. She was the youngest of all the sisters, very dear to her father, but still he was just completely ignoring her. Though mother and her sisters and everybody welcome, but not openly, not very warm welcome. Everybody realized something is not right. And Sati, being a chaste wife, and to top it all, knew the caliber, the whole position of Lord Shiva, she just decided this is great blasphemy to a great Vaishnava. And she also realized that Daksha, who is blaspheming Lord Shiva, and her body has come from Lord Shiva, she was so disgusted by the whole thing. She said, I don't want to do anything with Daksha, and I'll give up this body, which has come from Daksha. She just sits in the trance, and through her mystic power, not through any matchstick or any fuel or anything, she just burns her body with her mystic power. And then everybody is just shocked at what has happened. And then what is happening is what we are going to discuss now. Everybody's shocked. Why is Daksha behaving like this? And then we'll start with today's verse now. So 4.4.30 is what we're going to read now. If somebody can please, Mataji, if you can share the screen and somebody can read the verse.
Devotees, you can raise the hand. Vasudha Mataji, read the shloka. Rishabhanu Mataji's translation.
Hare Krishna,
Mataji, do you want to read us the purport also, Mataji?
No, Mataji, purport. Yeah, maybe this purport, the others will not read. This purport, yes, if somebody wants to read.
Yeah, Vasudha Mataji shloka, Rishabhanu Mataji translation, Shobha Mataji purport.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam Mataji. You are यो अयं दुर्मर्ष हृदयो ब्रह्मदृक् च लोके अप अपक् अपकीर्तिं महतीम् अवाप्स्यति यद् अङ्गजां स्वां पुरुष द्विद् उद्यतां न प्रत्यसेधन् मृतये अपराधतः. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Daksh, who is hard-hearted, that he is unworthy to be Brahmana, will gain extensive ill fame because of his offense to his daughter, because of not having prevented her death, and because of his great envy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Mataji and Prabhujis. Purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Daksha is described here as most hard-hearted and therefore unqualified to be a Brahmana. Brahmadrik is described by some commentators to mean Brahmabandhu or friend of the Brahmanas. A person who is born in a Brahmana family but has no Brahmanical qualification is called a Brahmabandhu. Brahmanas are generally very soft-hearted and forbearing because they have the power to control the senses and the mind. Daksha, however, was not forbearing for the simple reason that his son-in-law, Lord Shiva, did not stand up to show him the formality of respect. He became so angry and hard-hearted that he tolerated even the death of his dearest daughter. Sati tried here best to mitigate the misunderstanding between the son-in-law and the father-in-law by coming to her father's house, even without an invitation. And at a time, Daksha should have received her, forgetting all past misunderstandings. But he was so hard-hearted that he was unworthy to be called an Aryan or Brahmana. Thus, his ill fame still continues. Daksha means expert, and he was given this name because of his ability to beget many hundreds and thousands of children. Persons who are too sexually inclined and materialistic become so hard-hearted because of a slight loss of prestige, and they can tolerate even the death of their children. Haribol, thank you, Mataji Dandavats.
Should we read all the
Thank you,
slokas, Mataji,
Mataji.
or one after the other?
We will discuss this particular purport and this particular verse in detail now. So there are a lot of points here to be understood. And before we even begin getting deeper into this verse, let us understand that how we can also apply this to our life. It's easy to say, yes, Daksh did this, Daksh is a hard-hearted, he is a Brahman Bandhu. But let us also not think just and point fingers at Daksha, rather think how we can apply this to our life. Because even though Daksha is a great personality and he did so many offenses, we have to always understand and think how we can not become like him, how we can not become envious of such great Vaishnavas. And this is what we have to learn from this. So although we are saying here as Daksha, although we are saying here as, Daksha did this and Sati and this and that, we have to always understand what we should do and what we should not do. Right. So let's keep that mindset and now dive deeper into this wonderful purport and into this wonderful pastime and make the most out of it. So coming back to Daksha now, we've already seen how great a personality he is, how he's Brahma's son, and how he was made the chief of Prajapatis, right? Here we have read Daksha is expert. Daksha means somebody who is very qualified. So he had received a lot of fame for his contribution. He was called Daksha because he was expertly increasing the population of the earth. That was very well needed at that point of time. Because if we remember, Brahma's four sons, Kumara said no, Narad Muni said no, Shivji was also into procreation, but then ghosts and hobgoblins and everything was coming. So he was also said no. And then Prajapati Daksh came in and he was expertly doing what he was supposed to. Now, because he was calculating his contributions and how expertly he is doing his seva, he had become proud. That pride had creeped in him. And because of this pride, he had become envious of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is not ordinary personality. Externally, he may seem to be living in crematorium. He is, putting all ashes and wearing all the skeletons and snakes, and externally he's very not ordinary, right? But internally, he's completely absorbed, renounced and completely absorbed in Krishna consciousness. Shiva, in fact, means the most auspicious. But Daksha, he just saw the superficial qualities. That was one thing. And the second thing was he was proud of all his material opulences. He had fame, he had name, he had wealth, he had all the opulences one can even ask for. So what we have to learn from this, instead of becoming proud of the contributions that we have done, we should focus on how we can build our character. You have done contributions, you are Daksha, you are expert, very good. But at the same time, if we develop the quality of humility, just yes, I have done so much, but then you build the character of being humble, then you would have become super expert. That's what it is. Now, because of all this pride, envy, what is the word used here? Hard-hearted. Daksha had become hard-hearted. What does hard-hearted mean? Means he's not very kind. He does not consider other people's feelings. His own daughter, dearmost daughter. He had 16 daughters, right? But only one daughter, Sati, is called Dakshayani, means the daughter of Daksha. Even this very dear daughter, he did not consider. He said, okay, he was still remembering that she is related to Lord Shiva. That Lord Shiva did not show me proper respect, or did not show me proper etiquette. On the other hand, Sati, she said, okay, I'm a younger one. Let me just go build bridges, not burn them. She went. She was not invited, but she happily went there. She was trying her part to clear the misunderstanding between Lord Shiva and Daksha. She went there, but still she was not welcome. Says, no, I have enmity for Shiva. Even though my dear daughter is here, I don't care. He's holding on. He's not moving on. He's hard-hearted. And why is he hard-hearted? Because if we read the purport, here it is said, he is unqualified to be a Brahmana. He is called here as Brahmana Bandhu. What does Brahmana Bandhu mean? Brahmana Bandhu means somebody who is born in the family of Brahmanas, very high, elevated personality, but still does not have the qualities of Brahman. Right? He's just not acting just by words. He is born in a Brahmana family. So what are the qualities of Brahmana? Let us discuss that. Bhagavad Gita 18.42. Samadhamas tapas saucham shantir arjavam evacha gnanam vignana ashtikyam brahma karma swabhavajam. What does this mean? There are few qualities that are described of Brahmanas. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness. These are the natural qualities by which Brahmanas work. So now let us understand a contrast between Brahmana Bandhu, and how Daksha was behaving as Brahmana Bandhu based on this verse. The first one is peacefulness. Was Daksha peaceful?
No, Mataji.
Was Daksha peaceful? Of
No.
course not. He got angry immediately, right? Lord Shiva did not stand up and cursing without even, thinking anything. Cursing, not at all peaceful, right? Then the second quality, self-control. What do we think here? Was Daksha self-control? Daksha, he is engaged in procreation. That's his duty. That's his job. He has to increase the population. So he is engaged a lot in a way that is forcing him in this bodily concept of life. And that is why he's not even self-control, right? Then there is austerity. No question of austerity. Now he's become the chief of Prajapatis, right? So he is living full opulent life and he is living with no purity, no sense control. He's just living happily. Then there is tolerance. We all know. He did not tolerate. Okay, Lord Shiva did not get up. Let us still, I'm here. The sacrifice is to continue. Let us still continue the sacrifice. No, he just left the sacrifice. And then here, he rather than tolerating something which is actual tolerance, he tolerated the death of his daughter, right? Which is not, Brahmanas certainly know what is right and what is wrong. So rather than tolerating, the so-called, how do we say, disrespect from Shiva, rather than tolerating so-called disrespect from Shiva, he rather tolerated his daughter's death. Right in front of him, all this is happening. Of course, he has no tolerance. He does not even know what tolerance means, right? There is no honesty, right? He is calling all demigods, everybody, but he is not calling Lord Shiva. And then that shows his lack of knowledge and wisdom. He did not know the position of Lord Shiva. He did not know who Lord Shiva is, what is his internal mood, what is his meditation. He is renounced, he is Vaishnava. He was thinking he's just ordinary son-in-law, so much bodily concept, right? To even thought to a point where, he said, it's only because of Lord Brahma that I gave my daughter to Shiva. Otherwise, I would not have even married my daughter to Shiva. So much on the bodily concept, no knowledge of the actual position of Lord Shiva, right? And then this one, the last quality is religiousness, right? He is performing so many sacrifice after sacrifice after sacrifice. But these sacrifices are in complete ignorance. When you perform sacrifices according to Vedas, you have to offer oblations or homa to all the demigods. He did not even offer oblation to Lord Shiva. We saw that is what made Sati upset. So even though he is performing these big sacrifices, he is not doing it right. How can we call him religious? He does not even know how to respect big Vaishnavas, big personalities. So this is how we can understand Brahmana Bandhu, and how Daksha was behaving as a Brahmana Bandhu. These were his qualities, that he was completely opposite to Brahmana qualities, right? And now let us understand why he was behaving like this, right? Prabhupada says in the very last line of this purport, if we'll read again, persons who are too sexually inclined and materialistic become so hard-hearted because of slight loss of prestige that they can tolerate even the death of their own children. Very powerful statement. Very, very powerful statement, right? Now, one can say, oh, Daksha, he's given this role. It is his duty to increase the procreation, right? How can we say he's sexually inclined? That is what he's supposed to do, right? Yes, that is what he's supposed to do. Yes, that is what he has to do. But the pride that came along with this made him more and more on the bodily concept. That means he's thinking it is his duty to procreate. It is his duty, and he's remaining on this bodily concept. And that is making him more and more sexually inclined. That is what happens. That is why we have the regulative principles. Because one may say, oh, I am on diet, but if somebody puts gulab jamun in front of us, we'll definitely eat, right? If it is there right in front of you, right? Similarly, he is supposed to increase the population. But at the same time, if he would have just done it, being duty bound, it would have not implicated. But he was on the bodily concept. He was so much on this bodily concept that he was sexually. And because of this, he had become materialistic also. We had wonderfully read in the last chapter 3, there was purport. It said, although the 6 qualities, namely education, austerity, wealth, beauty, youth, and heritage, are for highly elevated, one who is proud of possessing them becomes blind and thus loses his good sense and cannot appreciate the glories of great personalities. Right? So, this is what has made him hard hearted, the pride, the envy. You know what Daksha was thinking? If I show that Lord Shiva is somehow inferior by cursing him, by putting him down, then my glory will increase. But actually, opposite happened, isn't it? Because of his pride, the glory of Lord Shiva actually increased, the glory of Sati increased. And here in this verse itself, we have read that Daksha's ill fame still continues. The purport says it, his ill fame still continues, right? And he continued this envious mentality, this envy and his pride continued even in his next life. And that is why he even cursed Narad Muni. How much careful we must remain of offending a Vaishnava. Just see here. Right? He did it once, he then got a goat's head, everything, and then next life, when he is Daksh again, he curses. We'll read again in the future chapters in the 6th canto, we'll read this. But he again curses Narad Muni. So he's a repeated offender. So that means how much careful we must be and how much we should guard our creeper of bhakti, that we do not fall into this subtle enemies, lust, pride, anger, envy. These are all very, very dangerous for our Krishna consciousness. It will actually destroy our bhakti lata beach, right? So we have to be so careful, especially envy. Envy is something that is only it's happening to you, right? Envy, like sometimes, let's say somebody's getting angry, you can see, oh, I'm getting angry, right? Or somebody around can, know you are getting angry and they can say, Prabhu, Mataji, please, and then you realize, yes, I got angry, and then you calm down. Okay? Then what? Then pride. Others can also see you're getting proud, right? They also can see, oh, he previously did not do this. Now he's not saying Hare Krishna to me. He's not saying Hare Krishna to big devotees. The pride is coming in. Others can see that also, right? But lust and envy, these are two which only is happening in your head, in your heart. And that means how much careful we must be to guard against these two, right? Until you actually fall down, lust and envy, and if we don't keep a proper check, until you fall down, there's no way it can be controlled. So how much careful we have to be and how much vigilant and guarded we have to be so that this does not happen to us. Because these are so much, they are so deep rooted. This verse we read, that Daksha even tolerated the death of his own daughter. We have one more such example in Bhagavatam, right? There was this king, his name was Yayati. Yayati, there is a lot of history and there is a lot of pastime with it, that he was actually married to the daughter of Shukracharya. Yayati was married to daughter of Shukracharya. And what happened was the friend of Shukracharya's daughter, there is Sharmishta and there are two names, I forget that. But The friend was also very much the friend of Yayati's. She was also very much inclined to have, she was also in loving relationship with Yayati. So Shukracharya warned that please be faithful to my daughter. Don't even look at the other girl. He said, yeah, I won't. And then he had a child, and then somehow the other girl, she approached Yayati and said, please, I also want a child and this and that. And Yayati said, okay, he just got carried away. And he engaged in relation with her, and they had a child, and sure enough, Shukracharya's daughter understood what has happened. Shukracharya immediately came to the place and said, you are so lusty and you have just, you have no qualifications, and I curse you. You will become an old man. So instead of repenting, this is very, very powerful stuff, right? Instead of repenting, you know what King Yayati says? Please don't curse me. I still have lusty feelings for your daughter. Please let me satisfy. So sure enough, Shukracharya gives a shortcut, says, all right, no problem. If you can exchange your old age with somebody's youth, you can enjoy with my daughter. Yayati still did not understand. He still was so much lusty, so much carried away by this strong current. He went and approached his own children. Will you exchange your youth for my old age? Just imagine that. And then one of his son, his name was Puru, he actually agreed. And his own child, he made him old and he became young and he was enjoying with his wife. So this is what happens, so much lust, so much sexual inclination, so much materialism. This just takes us away from the path. Of course, King Yayati then realized and then he became a pure devotee. But the point we are trying to understand is these are our subtle enemies. We have to carefully guard against them. We have to be so pakka in our sadhana, so pakka in hearing, chanting, listening, right association, so that these things don't creep in. When there is a boat, there is even a slight crack or slight hole somewhere, slowly water comes in and the boat collapses. Because the boat is in water, right? We are in this material world. It's everywhere around us. Every billboard we look, every hoarding we look, every advertisement, even the YouTube. This so much. You are trying to see a normal, like let's hear lecture today, and then you put YouTube something and the advertisement comes. We are so bombarded with this. We are practically surrounded by all these things. So how careful we must be that that small like crack doesn't seep in. There's one very nice example. How in India we have those trains, they have the third class compartment, right? They have those wooden things you sit on, right? So there was this one person, he struggled, he ran and managed one seat in that third class compartment. It's so crowded and somehow he still found a spot. He went, he sat there. And then there was this person, he just smiled at him. He was standing. Our person is sitting and this person smiled. And this our person who was sitting, he also smiled back. And then he felt a bit like, oh, he needs little space. So he moved little bit like this and gave little room to this person. And then that person grateful and thank you and he smiled. And then now comes his children. He again smiles at this person. He says, can you make little room? He smiles and makes little room. One child comes in, second child comes in, third child comes in, fourth child comes in. And finally, this Prabhu is on the edge, finally falls down. Because there's no room for him to sit. This is what happens with Maya. If we, Maya just smiles, and if we allow that to creep in, slowly, little, boom, we are down. So we have to be very careful, and this is what we have to learn from this pastime. How to, be so vigilant that this does not happen to us, right? That, we have to always be mindful. Very, very important point I felt was we may be contributing a lot to this movement, to the mission of Prabhupada, to our temple, to our Bhakti Vriksha, and this and that. But that contributions don't make us great. How we are handling that fame, that makes us great. How we are still keeping humble, how we are developing all these Vaishnava qualities, that will make us great. Of course, there is glories to all the wonderful services we are putting, but that should not get into our head. That should not get into our heart and not in our way. Okay. There's one more, so we have understood this whole aspect, and we have understood how the love for Daksha has, the love for his own daughter was less as compared to his own pride, ego, and prestige. Now we'll go to the next verse.
Hare Krishna Mataji, should we read the purport also, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, all small purports, will read
Yes,
them.
Mataji. Hare Krishna. Ansuya Mataji, you can read the shloka. Divya Gopu Mataji, you can read the translation. Shilpa Mataji, you can read the purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, pranams. Vadatyevam jane satya drishtva sutyagamandbhutam daksham tadpar shadahantum udat udishtan udaya yudaha. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Divya Gopu Mataji, you can read the translation. Hare Krishna. Shilpa Mataji, you can read the translation. Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. While people were talking amongst themselves about the wonderful voluntary death of Sati, the attendants who had come with her readied themselves to kill Daksha with their weapons. Mataji, purport?
Naimisha Mataji, you can read the
Hare
purport.
Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Sri Prabhupada Ki Jai. The attendants who came with Sati were meant to protect her from calamities, but since they were unable to protect their master's wife, they decided to die for her, and before dying, they wanted to kill Daksha. It is the duty for attendants to give protection to their master, and in case of failure, it is their duty to die. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you. Mataji will read. Now, the next few verses are describing about what happened after Sati, she burned herself, how there is reaction and counter reaction going on. So we'll read all the few verses until 34, and then I want you all to note about another few qualities of Brahmana that are coming in, okay? And then we'll discuss more in the end. So Mataji, we can read all the text and purport.
Sure, Mataji. Okay, Mataji. Naimisha Mataji, you can read the shloka. Anita Mataji, you can read the translation. And purport by Divya Gopu Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Teshamapattatam vegam nishamya bhagavan bhruguhu yajnagnagna na yajusha dakshinagnau juhavaiha. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. They came forward forcibly, but Bhrigu Muni saw the danger and, offering oblations into the southern side of the sacrificial fire, immediately uttered mantric hymns from the Yajurveda, by which the destroyers of yogic performances could be killed immediately.
Okay, Paramprabha Mataji, you can read Mataji. Divya Gopu Mataji is not there.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada Ki Jai. Here is one example of powerful hymns in the Vedas, in which, when chanted, could perform wonderful acts. In the present age of Kali, it is not possible to find expert mantra chanters. Therefore, all the sacrifices recommended in the Vedas are forbidden in this age. The only sacrifice recommended in this age is the chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, because in this age it is not possible to accumulate the needed funds for performing sacrifices, not to speak of finding expert brahmanas who can chant the mantras perfectly. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Divya Desai Mataji or Divya Mataji, you can read the shloka. Mataji, you can read the translation and purport. Hare Krishna.
Advaryayun. Hare Krishna Mataji. Can anyone else read the shloka? I'll read the translation.
Hare Krishna.
Shall we
Mataji,
read
you can read. Mataji. Divya Mataji. Yeah, you can go ahead, Mataji. Hare Krishna. You can go ahead with this.
Okay, Mataji. Advaryuna humani deva utpetu ajasa rubha nama utpasa soma prapta sahasrasa. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Shobha Mataji, you can read the translation. Sharmila Mataji, you can read the purport. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When Bhrigu Muni offered oblations in the fire, immediately many thousands of demigods named Ribhus became manifested. All of them were powerful, having achieved strength from Soma the moon.
Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It is stated here that many thousands of demigods named Ribhus became manifested because of the oblations offered in the fire and the chanting of the hymns from the Yajurveda. Brahmanas like Bhrigu Muni were so powerful that they could create such powerful demigods simply by chanting the Vedic mantras. Vedic mantras are still available, but the chanters are not. By chanting Vedic mantras or chanting the Gayatri or Rig mantra, one can attain the results one desires. In the present age of Kali, it is recommended by Lord Chaitanya that simply by chanting Hare Krishna, one can attain all perfection. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Is anybody who has to read Mataji who has raised hands still? Or shall I read Mataji? Hare Krishna.
Shall I read, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Meenakshi Mataji, you can read the shloka. I'll read the translation and purport. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Mataji. तैरलातायुधैः सर्वे प्रमदाः सह गुह्यकाः हन्यमानादिशो बेजोरो षड्भिर्भ्रमत तेजसा. Hare Krishna. Pranams,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna. Translation, Naimisha Mataji, you can read the translation and purport. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Danvat Pranam. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When the Rubhu demigods attacked the ghosts and Guhyakas with half-burnt fuel from the Yagna fire, all these attendants of Sati fled in different directions and disappeared. This was possible simply because of Brahmana Teja's Brahmanical power. Purport. The word Brahma Tejasa used in this verse is significant. In those days, Brahmanas were so powerful that simply by desiring and by chanting a Vedic mantra, they could accomplish very wonderful effects. But in the present age of degradation, there are no such Brahmanas. According to the Pancharatrika system, in this age, the entire population is supposed to consist of Shudras because the Brahmanical culture has been lost. But if anyone displays the signs of understanding Krishna consciousness, he should be accepted according to the Vaishnava Smriti regulations as a prospective Brahmana and should be given all facilities to achieve the highest perfection. The most magnanimous gift of Lord Chaitanya's is that the highest perfection of life is available in this fallen age if one simply adopts the process of chanting Hare Krishna, which is able to bring about the fulfillment of all activities in self-realization. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you, Mal Mataji. Hare
So, some powerful stuff here, isn't it? Just by some mantras, some demigods are coming out, right? How powerful is that? You just chant some mantras and then all these ruhus, they are coming out, right? So what is happening? Now Sati left her body. So all she had come with all the all her attendants and all, they started, they had come, they knew if you don't do anything, Lord Shiva will sure enough, they are faithful, loyal to their master. So they started attacking and they wanted to kill Daksha. So Bhrigu, who is performing the sacrifice for Daksha, he saw this and he just, chanted some mantras, offered oblations, swaha, swaha, and came Rubus. Now, Rubus they are very strong, they started fighting. But if we see repeatedly, right, Prabhupada has mentioned one thing repeatedly in his purpose. And what is that? There are still the mantras, the Vedic mantras that Bhrigu Muni chanted are still there. But are they qualified Brahmanas? They are not. Prabhupada has clearly said in this purpose, they are not even funds, they are not even Brahmanas who can perform this. So does that mean that the Brahman culture is dead in Kali Yuga? There is no Brahman, there are no Brahmanas, the whole culture is dead? That means everybody is degraded? Yeah, here it says everybody is Shudra. So what does that mean for us? Actually, it is right what Prabhupada says in the purport. Everybody is Shudra in the Kali Yuga. But what is our hope? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come in this age and given us the best gift of all. You know how we have the 4 yugas? Satyuga, people perform lots and lots of tapasya. They go thousands and thousands of years, they just perform sacrifice. In the next yuga, they do a lot of yagyas, right? Dwapara, they build a lot of temples. In Kali Yuga, we don't have time, we don't have money, we don't have the right people. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the most magnanimous avatar, he came, he said, don't worry about anything. Just come, just chant Hare Krishna, and then you will achieve the highest perfection. Why? Because Brahmanas, what is the definition of Brahmana? Somebody who knows the Brahman is Brahmana, right? But when we are in Krishna consciousness, we know the absolute truth. Brahman realization is only part. But to understand, to know Krishna as the absolute truth is the complete realization. So that is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, in this purport, we have read the very last line, which is shared on the screen, that Chaitanya's is the highest perfection of life is available in this fallen age if one simply adopts the process of chanting Hare Krishna, which is able to bring about fulfillment of all activities and self-realization. So we are not left out. Even though we don't have the same power, we don't have the same brahmanas, the same mantras, we are not left out. We can achieve more than what those brahmanas achieved. Because there are demigods who are aspiring to come to this earth in Kali Yuga because so easy to go back to home, back to Godhead, right? So that is what it is said. So many Kale Dosha Nidhi Rajan Eko Asti Mahan Guna. Kali Yuga, so many faults, so many, lust, anger, greed, envy. We discuss so much bombardment. But we have one hope. And that is the gift of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the gift we have received from Prabhupada, this wonderful chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So if we just focus on this chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra and do perform Sankirtan Yagya, right? See, Prabhupada says there is no need to sit in front of fire, perform Swaha, Swaha, nothing like that. But if you perform Sankirtan Yagya, then you go back to home, back to God. Can there be anything more easier? Can there be anything more wonderful than this? Absolutely not. So we must realize that yes, we have this lot of enemies, lust, anger, greed, envy. We are learning it from the example of Daksha. We also have to learn from the example of Lord Shiva how to tolerate all this and go beyond. Because, if Now there is, if you squeeze the orange, what comes out of it? Orange juice, right? If you make juice out of apple, apple juice comes out. Can apple give us mango juice? Right? Can grapes give us dragon fruit juice? No, right? So similarly, when we are squeezed, when we are in a pressure situation, if we have these qualities of tolerance, we have these qualities of peacefulness, that will come out. And that's what happened with Lord Shiva. Even though everything cursing, counter cursing, he did not take part in. He is pure Vaishnava, tolerant, kind, merciful. He just left them. So that is what we have to learn from Shiva's example. We have to learn from Daksha's example also, how not to be carried away by our post, how not to be carried away by all the opulence we have. And if we just learn from this and understand that, how we have got the most fortunate gift of chanting Hare Krishna, the mercy of our Prabhupada, mercy of our Guru, of our Sadhu Sangha. And if we just engage in that, we will sure enough achieve perfection. Thank you all very much. Now I open if anybody has any questions, any comments.
Anybody has any questions? Yeah, Suma Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, pranams to you Mataji, and feel very blessed and fortunate to have your association Mataji. In today's class you said that we are all covered with water, that you gave an analogy of that, the ship
Yes.
analogy.
Yes.
So the material world is we are not safe actually. So
Yes.
in one of the shloka of Bhagavad Gita it has been said like 6.30, those who see me in everything and everywhere, so I'm never lost to him. So I just wanted to know that Mataji, understand that when you said that the material world, whatever we have to deal with it every day, every moment.
Yes.
So how can one be safe, on the safer side, seeing Krishna around us? And
I always give this example. We have this ad in India, they say they eat chawanprash and then there is a golden kavach forms around them. Have you seen that ad?
Yes, Mataji, that covering our
Similarly, if we chant Hare Krishna, perform good solid sadhana, we are in sadhu sam, we have that golden shield around us. Even though we will be in water of the material world, we'll still not be affected. Because then our vision is looking for Krishna everywhere. Because our sadhana has become strong, right? Like, eat chawanprash, immunity increases, we perform our sadhana properly, our vision to see Krishna increases everywhere. Small things you will see Krishna, right? What does Krishna say? I am the taste of water. So every time you drink some water, say, okay, Krishna is the taste of water. Krishna says, I am the light of sun and moon. When we see moon or sun, Hare Krishna, when we are working and we see somebody is doing better job than us, what does Krishna say? I am the ability in man, right? So if we see these ways, we can see Krishna everywhere. And if our sadhana is strong, then the whole material world, no matter what goes around, we will be sure enough protected.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I just wanted to know where is the limit, Mataji? Like, for example, I asked this because 2 days back I went for a movie, Mataji, just to please my daughter. Like, she wanted to watch a movie. So I went. I just prayed to Krishna and I just went, Mataji. So I just wanted to know, like, how, Mataji, how, like, to please our family members and the people around us who are not practicing. So if we keep on going like this, so how is it, Mataji? Like, I'm not, it's a practical question, Mataji, that I went
It's a
through.
practical question, I agree. But there are ways you can deal with this. How old is your daughter?
She's 10 years old, Mataji.
10 years old. She can still understand what you are doing. And if you try and explain her, little bit, introduce little Krishna consciousness in their life. Don't just start talking about Krishna. Oh, we should not watch movies, this, that. Just feed them prasadam first, right? Once the prasadam goes in, then the heart and everything is purified. Then they will start listening. First prasadam, then the message. That, oh, what, wouldn't it be better if we just, watch something related to Krishna on YouTube or something and all. So that way you can slowly introduce Krishna to them.
Yes,
But
Mataji, I'm giving them.
Yes, and then and if there is a temple or some facilities close to you, then they can have same age group children. We had this in our Bhakti Vriksha, that there was one child, he just said no to Krishna consciousness, but then there were right people, like he made friends in Bhakti Vriksha. So with that, now He is learning verses and everything. So that also helps. If there is some company, they have some same age girls who can just, they're doing the same thing, chanting and all, and then they know, okay, what happens if you watch a movie and this, that, then they'll probably understand.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. That association is not there, and the temple is too far for me to get the association. So that is a problem. So I just seek your blessings, Mataji, prayers, so that we'll get the association and temple. So that
Mataji, there's lot of things available online also. Just check if something. I'm not sure where you are, and there'll be some programs conducted in homes or like because where I live in Melbourne, the temple is far, but lot of home programs, Bhakti Vriksha, this that goes. Maybe just inquire if that is around you, then that should help you.
yes, Mataji, surely I'll do that. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Pranam.
Shilpa Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Danvat Pranam, wonderful class Mataji. Your explanation was so clear with so distinct what we have to do and what we don't have to do. Everything was very clear Mataji. Hari Bol. My question Mataji is that when they mention the word Brahman Bandhu, which says that a person born in Brahman family without Brahminical qualities. So when we
Yes.
had Varnashram, then there was no question of being born in any family, right? Even if a person born in Brahmin family with the Kshatriya qualities, he is a Kshatriya. So where
Yes.
is the question of Brahma Bandhu come then, if I have not understood this properly, Mataji? Hare Krishna.
So what has happened as time progresses, the Varnashram is slowly with effect of Kali and everything, the Brahman Bandhu is coming in this age. So before everybody was clear, right? Everybody knew that, okay, I may be born in a family of Brahmana, but I have Shudra qualities, I am a Shudra. And that is how the whole system was. It was based on Guna and it was not based on birth, right? This is what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita himself. But as time went by, as degradation of the Varnashram system happened, now everybody is thinking by birth, especially in Kali Yuga. I am born in Brahmana family, I am Brahman, but then they don't have the qualities. So that is where all this happened. Of course, it is more prominent in Kali Yuga, but then here and there were some examples always. Like Ajamil pastime happened in previous age, it did not happen in Kali Yuga, but sort of Ajamil had also become Brahman Bandhu, right? So that kind of thing is always like, there'll be one or two examples like that, but now it has become more prominent. Does that answer your question, Mataji?
Yeah, that brings me to another question, Mataji, that all this, whatever that we are reading just now, the Daksha and the Shiva and Sati and all, happened in which yuga, Mataji?
This is pretty much starting, Mataji. Because see, all these cycles keep going on, right? There is Brahma's one day, there are so many yugas, right? So this all keeps happening. So this is pretty much the starting because Prajapati Daksha was starting to procreate. So this is pretty much the starting of the universe. That is all I can say.
So that time they didn't have the question of Brahma Bandhu, no? That time everybody was, a Brahmana's family, if somebody born into a Brahman family without Brahmanical qualities, is naturally either a Shudra or a Vaishya or a Kshatriya, and they fall into that. So there's no concept of Brahma Bandhu existing then.
But Daksha is exhibiting those qualities, isn't it, Mataji? He is Brahmana, but he is showing all the qualities of Brahmana. So they may not be the term, but because of his pride and all this, he became a Brahmana.
Okay, so when he was born with a Brahmanical quality, so he became a Brahmin
Exactly.
and then later on he fell. Oh,
Exactly.
okay.
The pride and all these things just creeping, right? As he became more and more powerful, he became expert at his service. He became proud, and then that's when all these qualities creeping. And that is why we were making the point of how your contributions you make should not make you proud. Rather, you should also focus on how I can build my character so that I can keep my myself in check.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Shobha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Danvat Pranam. Mataji, just not a question but a small realization. If I'm wrong, just please add or correct me. Realize that even if with such a lot of Brahmanical qualities and in such a start of the Yuga, Daksha being coming into the world, and then he has fallen or he has got these problems. So we are like, if we also get into this material conception, and the way you said that whatever contributions we are giving into our center or temple, some way or the other we do get this pride in ourselves. See, I have done this seva today, very nice, or others have glorified me. We may say that, yeah, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, but then there is something inside us which is saying that, no, I have done this. See, I am Krishna is so merciful to me. So that me, that is coming again and again. And today was like an eye-opening session for me. Mataji, thank you so much for this session, because these things come, and now I think it will remind me every time with this story that if this can happen to personality like Daksha, who is way elevated than me, then I can also fall down. That is only my realization, Mataji. If I'm wrong, you want to add something, Mataji, please.
And this is absolutely correct. One way of looking that is, oh, Daksha did this, Daksha did this, Daksha did this. But then the right way of looking is like you did. That if Daksha is teaching me by his example what not to do. So this is the right way of understanding that. And realizing that I am becoming victim of this is the first step. So you are definitely on the right path, Mataji. This is exactly how we all should learn from you. And this is exactly, before I started the session, this is exactly what I meant, that we should take it for ourselves, how we can take this in our life. Otherwise, it just becomes a very nice pastime, very nice, Daksha did this, Shiva did that, Sati did this. It just becomes a pastime, and we know the history, but we have to learn this from all these pastimes. And this is exactly what I meant when I began the session, that we have to take it on ourselves. So yes, you are right, Mataji. And we all should learn from you that how you took it personally, we also should take it that, we definitely should mean that, yes, all glories to Prabhupada, like that, that. And that we are an instrument, it is this earth, water, fire, and ether is coming from Krishna, right? So my hand, my body is made up of that. So what I'm doing, Krishna has given me this machine and I'm using it in his service. What is my greatness, right?
Yeah, but then again, Mataji, I know myself. So again, when I'm going to contribute, I'll again think in a way like maybe I'll remember this story, but some way or the other, I will these things will come, because Maya is too strong for me at least. So,
But
Mataji,
every time just remind yourself, every time, you did something, but then you said, Hare Krishna, please let me consider myself as an instrument in your hands. Pride is creeping in, Krishna, please help me chant Hare Krishna. That will protect you. Because when we are trying to, when children are trying to walk, they fall, they get up, then that's how our stage is. But realizing is the first step which you have done. Just keep working on it, keep working on it. And then it will come to a point, that is how we advance actually. When we advance, this is how that we don't even realize what contributions we are making. So this is it will come, but like you are being cautious, just be cautious, and then Krishna will surely give you his mercy.
thank you so much, Mataji, for your guidance, and thank you. Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. I think there are no more questions, Mataji. Thank you so much for the wonderful session and answering all the questions beautifully. And it was so convincing, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Mataji. This is all glories to Prabhupada.
Yeah. And now we'll have Damodar Arti, Mataji. If you want, you can stay, or you can leave, Mataji, if you want.
Oh, okay, Mataji.
Yeah, Naimisha will be singing the Damodar Ashtakam.
Damodar Ashtakam by Satyata Muni ki jai. Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Lasakundalam Gokule Brajamanam Yashodabiyolukalaadavanam Paramdeshtamatyantato Trutya Gopya Yudantam Mahurnetrayutam Vrijantam Karambojayugmena Satankanetram Muhushvasakam Patrirekangakanta Stitagraivam Damodaram Bhaktipadam Iti Driksvalila Birananda Kunde Swagosham Nimajjantam Akyapayantam तदीयेषितग्नेषु भक्तिर्जितत्वम् पुनः प्रेमतस्संशयता वृत्तिवन्दे वरं देवमोक्षं नामोक्षावधिं वा न चान्यं वृणेऽहं वरेष्यदपीह हिदन्ते वपुर्नाथ गोपालबालम् सदा मे मनस्या वीरास्तकिमन्ये विदन्ते मुकाम्बोजम् अत्यन्तनील व्रतं कुन्तलैस्निग्धरक्तैश्च गोप्या मोहश्चम्बितं बिम्बरक्ताधरं मे मनस्या विरास्तम् अलं लक्ष्यलाभे नमो देवदामोदरानन्त विष्णो प्रसीद प्रभो दुःखजालब्धिमग्नम् कृपादृष्टिवृष्ट्यातिदिनं बतानु ग्रहाणि क्षमामज्ञं यदि अक्षिदृश्या कुबेरात्मजौ बद्धहुतैव यद्वत् त्वया मोचितौ भक्ति बाजौ कृतौ च तथा प्रेम भक्तिं स्वकामे प्रयच्छ न मोक्षे ग्रहो मेऽस्ति दामोदरीह नमस्ते स्तुदाम्ने स्फुरद्दीप्तिदाम्ने त्वदीयोद्धराय तवेश्वस्य दाम्ने नमो राधिकायै त्वदीया प्रियायै नमो नन्तलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यं नमो राधिकायै त्वदीया प्रियायै नमो नन्तलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यं नमो राधिकायै त्वदीया प्रियायै नमो नन्तलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यं हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा दामोदर राधा दामोदर राधे जय यशोद दामोदर राधे जय प्रभुपदा हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरे कृष्णा.
Thank you, Naimisha. Thank you so much. Mother Ashtakam song. Thank you, Gigi, Jigisha Mataji and Rohini Mataji. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you. Manchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Anant Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Damodar Ashtakam ki jai, Damodar Leela ki jai. Hare Krishna to all.
so much, Mataji.
Thank
you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Shall I end the meeting?